Paul Saladino. Paul Saladino is a double board certified MD. He has millions of followers on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where he shares content on how to improve one's health through lifestyle, specifically through diet and what he calls an animal-based diet, a diet that consists of meat, organ meats like liver and heart, raw dairy, fruit, and honey. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Lillie. I'm a certified nutrition health coach, and I also eat an animal-based diet. Now, I feel like out of all the health and nutrition people I've seen online, poor Paul, he has gotten roasted the most out of everybody. He has had so many people create videos about him saying what he does wrong, or that they don't like something about him, or they disagree with him. And so that is why today we're going to make a video about Paul being right and all the things that I've learned from Paul, or I totally agree with Paul on. I plan to make more content like this where we find people in the health and nutrition space and what we can agree on, what we can learn from them, and our commonalities. So if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comment section who you want me to do next. And now, before I talk about what I've learned from Paul, we're first gonna have my husband share how he found Paul initially, what he's learned from him, and how he's positively impacted my husband's life.
I first found Paul's content about 4 years ago when I was eating primarily keto, but keto with a lot of vegetables. And at the time, I was having a lot of gut problems. I had a small amount of leaky gut and irritable bowel syndrome, a little bit of ulcerative colitis, bloating. Paul, on the other hand, was advocating for the removal of a lot of these vegetables because plants have a variety of toxins and defense mechanisms that harm people's guts. And at the time, that was hard for me to buy into, but as I tried it and removed certain vegetables, I started feeling better. So I continued to remove more and more to the point where I was not eating any vegetables and just primarily having animal foods and meat. I did a carnivore diet for 6 months, and while it healed my gut completely and my digestion became normal, I wasn't able to eat enough calories. And the main reason for this is because I was full all the time. All the protein, all the healthy fats kept me very satiated. And while this is a good thing in lots of ways for people, for me it was actually detriment to my body and my physical well-being. I'm a person that likes to work out a lot, and I found that I wasn't able to push myself in the gym as much as I did before I had went carnivore. For instance, I was 175 pounds and around 8 to 10% body fat before going carnivore, and then after doing carnivore for 6 months, I lost weight, was about 160 pounds, and more like 15% body fat. My metabolism went down, my energy went down, my muscle mass went down. When I was eating food, I would cover my food in salt. I wasn't able to get enough electrolytes, I'd never felt hydrated. All these things also led to me having worse sleep. I used to sleep over 8 hours a night and found myself only sleeping 6 hours and being fully awake, even though I knew I needed more rest. I have heard some people say it's okay to get 6 hours of sleep as long as they are waking up alert. But for me, I knew that was my cortisol, my stress hormone, being activated abnormally and waking me up, but not allowing me to have the recovery I truly needed with the activity level I was demanding on my body. One of the big things I was trying to heal was my skin. I had lots of red patches on my chest, my neck, my back, and they actually became worse eating a strict carnivore diet. And on top of this, I really missed the variety. I personally like to have other whole foods in my diet. I like to have more options on my plate. So while a carnivore diet healed my gut, all these other symptoms getting worse told me I was not moving fully in the right direction. And because of that, I kept looking and kept keeping an open mind to try new things. At the same time, Paul Saladino was making similar adjustments to his diet as well. He started adding fruit and honey and raw dairy to his diet, increasing his overall carbohydrates, sharing how it actually really benefited him in a lot of ways, including with his hydration, his sleep, his hormones, his metabolism, and his workouts. And seeing this, I decided I wanted to try the same thing, adding in more fruits, some honey, raw dairy, just more carbohydrates from whole foods overall, completely changed all of the symptoms that I was having eating a strict carnivore diet. My sleep improved, my hydration was much better, my workouts were just like they used to be before. I felt more energetic and happier as a person. I had more variety on my plate, and I was able to eat more. I looked forward to my meals, increased my calories, and I gained more muscle. I started to sleep better, and my skin completely healed. All of this happened while my digestion stayed the same. So for me, I found eating more at my activity level and my age at this time was the right direction for me to go. I've watched a lot of content where people say that sugar causes insulin resistance and diabetes, and I've seen people compare whole food fruits to things like Snickers bars. That's like saying all fat is bad, and that we should compare a steak to a pizza, when the fat in a pizza is coming from things like ultra-refined, highly heated seed oils. There's naturally occurring trans fats in steak, and there's also trans fats in pizza, just like how there's naturally occurring sugars in fruit, and there's added sugars in things like Snickers bars. While anything can have fat in it and anything can have sugar in it, to me, these things are not the same things, and my body doesn't respond to them in the same way. In the comparison between an apple and a Snickers bar, an apple has polyphenols, it has fiber, it has minerals like potassium and magnesium in it. Snickers bars have lots of added ingredients that are made in a lab, that aren't found in nature, and that don't do the same things inside the body as an apple does. And for me, I do better having some whole food fruits in my diet versus not having any. Overall, I appreciate Paul's content showing the negative aspects of ultra-processed seed oils and the benefits of eating whole foods.
Paul Saladino does not like toxins, and neither do I. Paul talks about toxins in food, in our water, in our clothes, and there's also toxins in our beds, as many mattresses have polyurethane foams, which can cause harmful off-gassing, and then many mattress companies will use fiberglass as a flame retardant, and so we want to be sleeping in a bed that uses organic cotton, organic wool, and uses organic natural materials that you can find out in nature. So after tons of research, my husband and I settled on a Birch mattress. We got the Birch Luxe mattress. We actually bought our mattress last Black Friday, and then 6 months ago, Birch reached out and asked if they could sponsor a video, and I said, hey, I already got your mattress and I love it. So yes, you can sponsor today's video, especially because it's a bed that, I spend 9 hours of my life using this product each night, and I genuinely think it's one of the best brands on the market, hence why we got it when we did our research. Birch delivers the mattress straight to your door for free in the US, and they also offer an in-home setup and removal to make your buying process as easy as possible. Each mattress also comes with 2 of their Eco-Rest pillows, which are made from recycled materials, which are breathable and better for the environment. I got 2 of the free pillows last year when I bought my mattress, and I just love these pillows. We even got the mattress topper, their pillowcases, the sheets. We are just Birch lovers. So if you're in the market for a new bed that is comfortable, yet also what I would call healthy bed, in the sense that they use natural materials and nothing funky in their mattresses, then you can use the link in the description to get 27% off plus 2 free Eco-Rest pillows. Now, this is their exclusive Black Friday sale, which is a better discount and sale than I got last year, because they're running a new thing where don't go on their website and just buy the bed. You'll get a discount that way, but to get a bigger discount, then you want to put in the discount code BirchPartner27, or again, use the link in the description to get 27% off plus the 2 free pillows. It's the best bed. And even if you can't invest in a mattress right now, I would still consider, whenever you can, investing in some 100% organic cotton sheets. Again, we got ours from Birch, but either way, I think that when we're laying in plastics all night, instead, if for 9 hours we can be sleeping in 100% organic cotton and have that be on our skin, it's an easy thing that can be swapped out and start creating a healthier impact on our life. Now let's talk about the things that I have learned from Paul or totally agree on with him. Starting with raw dairy. Now, I used to be somebody who stayed away from dairy like it was the plague, because I used to have a lot of stomach cramps, digestive issues, bowel problems because of the dairy that I was consuming. Now, 90+% of the dairy products in the US are what's called pasteurized dairy. They essentially are raw dairy that's been heated up to kill off the bad bacteria, but in doing so, it also kills off the good bacteria and the enzyme lactase that breaks down the lactose. And so for someone who may find that whenever they have US dairy products, they have stomach issues, or they have more acne, or they just don't feel as well from the dairy, it could be because it's pasteurized dairy, whereas raw dairy still has the enzyme lactase that breaks down the lactose and therefore can be easier to digest. So I really love that Paul talks about the importance of raw dairy because it's just what really would have been out in nature. It would have been the normal way that people consumed dairy for hundreds and thousands of years. It contains more probiotics, more enzymes, more vitamins, minerals, nutrition as a whole. And so I couldn't agree more with Paul as far as if you can. I know it's harder to find sometimes, but try to find a local farmer or someone who you can get some raw dairy from.
I am not a fan of grain-finished conventional beef. Glyphosate contamination is only one of the reasons.
Now, I usually don't talk about this one too much because it tends to be a touchy subject, though I do agree with Paul Saladino that if you can afford it, then I would opt for the grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Again, the majority of beef in the US grocery stores are going to be what's called grain-finished beef, where at the end of the cow's life, they're going to be fed more corn, soy, and grains. And many people will say that there's a small difference between grain-finished and grass-finished beef, though I kind of like to think of it like this. If we had two twins and they lived the exact same lives, they had the same work, exercise regimen, sleep habits, and yet one of the twins walked for 10 minutes a day. It's something small, just 10 minutes, yet this can accumulate over time, over the weeks, the months, the years. This twin is going to be much healthier from that small difference of 10 minutes of walking. And likewise, I would think that's similar to grain-fed versus grass-finished beef. The difference is small, but it can add up. I know it's more expensive to buy grass-finished beef, so if someone can only afford grain-finished beef, please, I would eat that all day versus any ultra-processed junk food. So again, any kind of beef is better than no beef, but at the same time, if someone does have a little bit more money and can afford the grass-finished beef, that would be something that I would prioritize, as the nutritional difference may be small, but it can add up. One of the things I really value about Paul, which many people probably think the opposite, but I like that he's changed his diet.
Eating a carnivore diet led to full resolution of my autoimmune condition, eczema, itchy rashes, and asthma that I'd had for my whole life. But after a year and a half, I quit the carnivore diet.
I can imagine being, again, a viewer who watched his old content and sees him saying one thing, and then you trying it because you're seeing he's finding success with it, and so you do that as well, but then he eventually changes his mind or finds that that thing that he was doing is no longer serving him, so then he tries something new, and then for the viewer, you're like, what? So you lied to me back then, or what I was doing back then was wrong. And I don't think that people are trying to be malicious or trying to set you up for failure. I think that genuinely there's times where something is working and then later things change, and we should evolve and stay open to that. I like that he didn't double down and just try to create his content around what people wanted him to say, and I like that he has evolved. It makes me feel like he's more honest and open and transparent and not filtering what he's saying and not trying to adhere to what people want him to be. And that for me is very refreshing. I've even been tempted at times to create content that I know people want to hear. But sometimes the things that people want to hear is not the best thing for them. Sometimes the easy thing isn't actually serving them. I know Paul's been criticized a lot on the way that he presents information, and I think that from what I've seen over the years, he's definitely evolved. I can reflect on myself as well. While I can point the finger, I got 3 fingers pointing right back at me. And I know that my beginning videos, I was a little bit more, all over the place, and I've been probably judged for that as well, and that's fine. But I want to hopefully evolve and change people's opinions about me, or, get a different audience if that's what it means. But there's definitely people, I'm sure, who are other influencers or people in the health space who look at my old content, judge me for that, and then just write me off. And therefore, I don't want to do that with Paul either, because, he has grown a lot and he's changed the way he communicates, and I respect that. Google's telling me Paul is 47 years old, and I think that out of all of the people in the health and fitness space, Paul Saladino has a really great physique. He has lots of muscle mass, especially considering his age. I love that Paul is very active. I love that he talks about getting movement and building strength and having flexibility. I know that getting in movement can be hard, especially when we've had a long day and we're just exhausted. And the thought of working our muscles and growing and becoming stronger, it just is like, you know what? Ask me tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it just keeps getting pushed down the sidelines. And so while it's easier to say, just eat as much meat as you want and don't worry about exercise and you'll see weight loss, sure, but I think having muscle mass can be a very important part of our health. And for some people, they may find they have less of the quick energy that they need to go and get a good workout in by just having meat and fat. Some people can put on muscle mass eating meat and fat, but I think there's going to be a good percentage of people who find some carbohydrates help them have the quick energy they need to have more explosive movements, to get more out of their workouts, to put on more muscle, to sleep better, to have more testosterone, things like that. That while they may not need as many carbohydrates as Paul, he's moving a lot. Some people may find having even just a small amount, whether that's like a glass of milk or a teaspoon of honey, they may find that helps them with their performance in the gym or ability to put on muscle. And I can't understate the value of having more muscle mass, as it can help with insulin resistance, blood pressure, depression, sleep, testosterone, hormones, our metabolism. There's so many benefits to having more muscle mass, and it just, yes, takes effort and it takes work. And I really appreciate Paul for being a good demonstrator of someone who is going out and getting that movement and finding a form of activity that he enjoys. We don't all have to go to the gym to build strength and get in mobility. Rather, pick whatever form of movement you enjoy. And I do offer one-on-one coaching where I can help create movement plans, meal plans, answer your questions, and I help people reach their goals on their health journey. So if that interests you, there's a link in the video description to my coaching rates and services. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.